Okay, I need you to stop what you're doing for a second because what just happened at the 3M Open is genuinely insane, and nobody is talking about the real story here. A 21-year-old kid, 3 tournaments into his professional career, just walked onto a PGA Tour golf course, looked the #1 player on the planet dead in the eyes, and said no, not today. He didn't just beat Scottie Scheffler. He broke the entire tournament record doing it, 25 under. Scheffler fired a bogey-free 63 on Sunday, and it still wasn't enough. And here's the part that's going to mess with your head. This is Scheffler's 5th time finishing second this year. 5th. The best golfer alive has 1 win since January and 5 runner-up finishes. That's not bad luck anymore. Something is actually wrong. But the craziest part isn't the loss. It's what this rookie does before every single round. 3 words, written right there on his glove. And when you hear what those words are and what they reveal about the gap between him and Scheffler right now, it reframes everything you thought you knew about who's really the most dangerous player on tour. Let me show you what I mean. You know that feeling when you watch the best player on the planet do everything right and still lose? Scottie Scheffler shot 63 on Sunday, bogey-free. 8 under par in a single round at TPC Twin Cities. The kind of round that wins golf tournaments 99 times out of 100. It didn't win this one, because 3 groups ahead of him, a 21-year-old kid from Auburn University, a kid playing in his 3rd professional golf tournament ever, was writing 3 words on his glove before he walked to the first tee. Confidence, trust, dominate. That's exactly what Jackson Koivun did. He dominated the best player alive. He broke the tournament record. He exposed something about Scottie Scheffler that no one in the PGA Tour media is willing to say out loud. This marks Scheffler's 5th runner-up finish in 2026. 5th. The top-ranked golfer on planet Earth has finished second 5 times this season and has exactly 1 victory to show for it. 1 win since January. That's a pattern, not a slump. And patterns have causes. Now here's what I want you to do. Before we unpack the real story behind what happened at the 3M Open, before I show you the specific moment that revealed Scheffler's fatal flaw, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This channel breaks down what really happens on tour, not just what the broadcast shows you. To understand what happened in Minnesota this weekend, you have to understand what's been building all year. January 2026, La Quinta, California. Scottie Scheffler wins the American Express, his 20th career PGA Tour title. 20 wins before age 30. The man is a machine. Commentators are calling him the most dominant player since Tiger Woods in his prime. Then something shifts. February, March. Scheffler keeps playing at an elite level. Top 5s, top 3s, but no wins. The narrative starts to change, quietly at first. Whispers come from the stats guys, the analytics people buried in the PGA Tour's ShotLink data. April arrives. Augusta National. The Masters. Scheffler goes toe-to-toe with Rory McIlroy in the final round. This is the biggest stage in golf. The green jacket. He finishes 1 shot behind McIlroy. 1 single stroke. Runner-up number 2. But here's where the pattern crystallizes. Scheffler doesn't just finish second at the Masters. He then finishes second at the RBC Heritage. Then second again at the Cadillac Championship. 3 consecutive solo second-place finishes. Let that sit for a moment. In the history of the PGA Tour, that kind of streak is almost unheard of. It means you're playing well enough to beat 150 other professionals every single week, but you can't beat the one guy who finishes ahead of you. Golf media frames it as unlucky, as close calls, as valiant efforts. They call Scheffler the most consistent player in the world and move on. Nobody asks the harder question. Nobody asks why the guy with 20 career wins, the guy who won the Masters in 2022, who won 7 times in a single season in 2024, suddenly can't close. Jackson Koivun answered that question for us on Sunday. Not with words, with a golf glove and a 66. Before we get to the 3M Open itself, you need to know who Koivun actually is. This is not some random qualifier who got hot for a weekend. This kid is a generational talent. Auburn University. 3 years. 11 career collegiate wins, a school record. He swept the Ben Hogan Award, the Jack Nicklaus Award, and the Fred Haskins Award in the same season. First player in history to do that. Then he did it again 2 years later. SEC Player of the Year 3 straight times. First man ever. Led Auburn to 2 team national championships in 2024 and 2026. He earned his PGA Tour card through PGA Tour University Accelerated during his sophomore year. He could have turned pro right then. Instead, he chose to go back to school. Think about that. He had a guaranteed PGA Tour card, and he walked back into a college locker room. Koivun finally turned professional in June 2026, right after his last amateur start at the US Open. Made his debut at the John Deere Classic. Now, 3 starts later, he's a PGA Tour winner. 3 starts. Let's go to Blaine, Minnesota. TPC Twin Cities, the 2026 3M Open. Thursday through Saturday, Jackson Koivun plays the kind of golf that makes veteran caddies stop what they're doing and watch. He builds a 3-shot lead heading into Sunday. The kid is 21 years old, he's played 2 professional tournaments in his entire life, and he's leading a PGA Tour event by 3 strokes heading into the final round. Then Scottie Scheffler shows up. Now here's where the dynamics of this final round get fascinating. The Texan was making his first ever appearance at the 3M Open. The world's top-ranked player doesn't typically play this event. It's not a signature event. The purse is $8.8 million, significant but not elite by his standards. So why was he there? The answer tells you everything about where Scheffler's head is right now. He needs reps. He needs to feel what winning feels like again. He hasn't won since January. He's been grinding through runner-up after runner-up, and the FedExCup playoffs start in 2 weeks. Scheffler enters the 3M Open looking for confidence, looking for momentum, looking for a trophy. On Sunday, he goes out and shoots 63. Bogey-free. 8 birdies. The kind of ball-striking clinic that reminds you why this man holds the #1 ranking. His iron play is surgical. His putting is dialed. He's making everything. The roar builds. Here's what Koivun said about it afterward, and I need you to listen to this carefully because it tells you everything about the mental gap between these 2 players. Koivun said, "All throughout the crowd I kept hearing, Scottie's coming. Scottie's coming. I just tried to tune that out and keep playing the golf I knew I could. Scottie's coming." That's what the gallery was chanting. That's the psychological warfare the Auburn rookie was dealing with on Sunday afternoon. Thousands of fans, openly rooting for the world's best to run him down. Koivun's response? He made par saves. He hit fairways. He played a bogey-free 66. Now think about the contrast. Scheffler is chasing, firing at flags, making birdies, and the crowd is fueling him. Koivun is leading, hearing the stampede behind him, and he doesn't flinch. There's a moment on the 9th hole that Koivun flagged as the turning point. He had a tricky par putt, the kind that can unravel a Sunday lead in seconds. Miss it, and the 3-shot cushion becomes 2. The noise gets louder. The pressure doubles. Koivun said, "If I missed that, then I only had a 2-shot lead, where last time I checked I had a 5-shot lead. So making that was huge." He made it. From that point forward, the tournament was his. But here's the part the broadcast didn't show you. While Koivun was grinding out pars on the back 9, Scheffler's charge was stalling. The birdies stopped. The putts started burning edges. The gap that had narrowed to 2 shots stretched back to 3. Scheffler finished at 22 under. Koivun finished at 25 under. A tournament record 259. The rookie won by 3. In his 3rd start. Against the top-ranked player in the world. Somewhere inside the TPC Twin Cities clubhouse, behind closed doors, Scheffler sat with his team and processed another runner-up finish. So here it is, the thing no one is saying. Scottie Scheffler's fatal flaw is not mechanical. It's not physical. His swing is still elite. His ball-striking numbers are still 2. P5 on tour. His strokes gained data still says he's the best overall player in professional golf. The flaw is psychological. Jackson Koivun exposed it without even trying. Scheffler's pattern in 2026 is this. He plays extraordinary golf from Thursday through Saturday. He puts himself in contention, and then on Sunday, when it matters most, someone else finds an extra gear that he can't match. At the Masters, it was McIlroy. At the RBC Heritage and the Cadillac Championship, it was other closers. At the 3M Open, it was the Auburn product who writes confidence, trust, dominate on his glove. Notice the word order on that glove. Confidence first, trust second, dominate third. That's not random. That's a psychological blueprint. Koivun believes before he executes. He trusts his preparation before the pressure arrives. Only then does he try to dominate. Now contrast that with what Scheffler has been doing all year. He doesn't lack confidence. He doesn't lack trust. But when the final round pressure peaks, when the crowd is roaring and the leaderboard is moving, Scheffler plays reactive golf. He chases. He responds to what others are doing instead of imposing his own game on the tournament. At the 3M Open, Scheffler shot 63. Magnificent. But it was a chasing 63, not a leading 63. There's a difference. When you're chasing, every birdie feels like you're catching up. When you're leading, every par feels like a wall your opponents can't climb over. Koivun built walls. Scheffler threw haymakers. The walls held. This is the pattern that defines his 2026. 1 win, 5 runner-ups. The win came in January, when there was no narrative, no pressure, no, can Scheffler still close? Storyline hanging over him. He just showed up at the American Express and played his game. Every runner-up since has come with escalating external pressure. The Masters pressure. The streak pressure. The when will he win again? Pressure. Now, the sting of losing to a kid who's been a professional for 3 weeks. Here's the quote that confirms it. Scheffler himself, after the 3M Open, said this about Koivun. Anytime you're trying to win for the first time, it's awfully difficult, especially for a young guy coming out of college. I think that shows not only how talented of a player he is, but I think the mental strength he has as well. Mental strength. The world's best player is publicly acknowledging that a rookie from Auburn has something, mentally, that he's struggling to access right now. That's not a gracious quote. That's a confession. Scheffler then added, when you see the guys come out of college, they're really, really prepared, even more prepared than we were coming out. More prepared than we were. Let that land. The top-ranked player on earth is saying the new generation is coming out of college more mentally ready than his generation was. That's an alarm bell. The system producing these players? PGA Tour University. The accelerated program. The pipeline that gave Jackson Koivun a tour card as a sophomore and let him choose to go back to school and get even better. That pipeline just produced a winner in 3 starts. Scheffler knows it. Here's why this matters beyond one tournament. The FedExCup playoffs start in 2 weeks. The Wyndham Championship is next, then the FedEx St. Jude, the BMW Championship, and the Tour Championship. 4 events that determine the entire season. Scheffler will enter those playoffs as the top-ranked player with 5 second-place finishes and 1 win. He'll be the favorite on paper. Betting markets will love him. Analytics will project him to dominate. But the last man standing in a playoff isn't the most talented player. It's the player who closes. Right now, Scheffler is not closing. Meanwhile, Jackson Koivun just pocketed $1.584 million, his first check as a tour winner. He set a tournament record at 25 under. He went bogey-free on Saturday and Sunday. He looked the world's best in the eye through a 3-hour Sunday pressure cooker and never blinked. That kid is a closer. PGA Tour University's pipeline that produced him? Just getting started. The next Koivun is already on a college campus somewhere right now, earning his accelerated card, deciding whether to turn pro or go back for another year. Veterans who came up through the Korn Ferry Tour, players who had to earn their cards. Each traditional way, they're watching the new model produce instant winners. They're paying attention. Scheffler said it himself. More prepared than we were. More than a compliment. The future showed up ahead of schedule. So here's my question for you, and I want real answers in the comments. Is Scottie Scheffler's runner-up streak a temporary blip, something he'll snap out of when the playoffs arrive? Or has something fundamentally shifted in his ability to close? And is 2026 the year the world's best became the best player who can't win? Drop your take below. I read every single comment. If you're not subscribed yet, this is the channel that breaks down the stories the broadcast won't touch. The closed-door dynamics. The psychological patterns. The real reasons players win and lose at the highest level. Hit subscribe. Turn on the bell. You won't miss a thing. Now, one final thought. What we witnessed at the 3M Open wasn't just a rookie winning a golf tournament. It was a generational shift happening in real time. A 21-year-old kid who wrote 3 words on his glove: confidence, trust, dominate, and then did exactly that against the most dominant player of his era. The most dominant player of his era watched it happen. Again. For the 5th time this year. There's a reason Jackson Koivun chose to go back to college when he already had a tour card. He wasn't just getting better at golf. He was getting ready for moments exactly like this one. Scottie Scheffler has 20 career wins. He's still the top-ranked golfer alive. But right now, at this exact moment in the 2026 season, the rookie who beat him might have the one thing he's missing: the ability to close. That might be the most dangerous thing in professional golf.